You've seen brutality, the red rage of the blood god. Now it's time for perfection, the creeping dread and ecstatic sensation of the Dark Prince's domain. Far beyond the Marcher Fortress, shrouded in the ether, come the armies of Azazel, once known as Garion. It's been almost 3 millennia since the time of Sigmar Heldenhammer, and still his betrayal echoes in eternity, the first of many in a life lived for chaos. His legions march forth, clad in the finest armor and weapons of this realm beyond time and space, and he's got some sass to share with the mortal world too, as soon as he's done with these pesky Greenskins. Stray too deeply into the abyss, and you might just lose your heart and your soul. Goblin Great Shaman on a Catchweb Spider Shrine, and an Angry Wa seem a little out of place here. Let's turn them into fertilizer. So Slaanesh has proven itself to be quite potent in Warhammer 3 multiplayer. If you watch the tournament over the weekend, you know the mono gods in general are doing quite well, but perhaps none so more than the Dark Prince himself. Azazel might very well be the strongest of the 4 new lords, but he has some cool abilities that likely won't be a part of his standard min-maxed kit. Temptator reflects damage and grants a ward save, while the Demon Blade dramatically lowers leadership, which can cause instant terror routes for factions with low morale, like the Beastmen or Greenskins. He swoops down from the sky, touches you in all the wrong ways, and then he lets his Hellstriders eat your booty as you flee. Lash of Slaanesh, Acquiescence, and Slicing Shards are his spells, and his Domineering Aura lowers attack and defense, building in power as units waver and route around him. So, a lot of synergy with his kit, and a great lore passive in Blissful Rapture that benefits from spamming low cooldown spells. Behind him come the Chosen of Slaanesh, whose Hellscourge variant is quite bad, for reasons we'll discuss soon, but these guys are cool. They are immune to Psych, and have physical resist, like all Mark of Slaanesh units, and a pretty great stat line to boot. They'll be further bolstered by the Chaos Warshrine, which has an incredible model, and functions like a Mortis engine with its giver of torturous glory. The more units die in its radius, the deadlier its life drain becomes, while its favor of the Ruinous Powers grants a huge boost to leadership. So, a powerful centerpiece for any army, provided it can be kept alive and not focused down by missiles or artillery. And it'll also be supporting the Devoted Marauders, which are the exact same unit that's been in the game since launch, but they are one of the main reasons Slaanesh is so incredibly strong right now, especially in domination, but also in land battles, and it's because they beat enemies that cost way more than them. They're a spammable immune to terror fodder unit that performs well above its weight class. In the skies above are some Furies with AP, and in the rear, the Eternal Entourage, Sycophantic Heartseekers with Perfect Vigor, and Obsessive Adoration that supercharges nearby lords and heroes. They'll be supported by some regular Seekers of Slaanesh and Hellstriders out on the flanks, which are another incredibly strong unit for the price. We'll have to be thinking about choke points here too, because the terrain on this map is quite a bit more impactful than on the standard Total War battlefield. Across the Vale come the Greenskins and an Arachnid build, with some Skirmish Cav Vanguard deployed out front, and a Savage Orc plus Big Gun front line, Stone Trolls, Squigs, and a Goblin Great Shaman on a Catchweb Spider Shrine, with Vindictive Glare, Itchy Nuisance, and Don't Even Try It, for debuffing enemies and dealing guaranteed single target damage to expensive lords like Azazel, Prince of Damnation. And with Azazel's low armor, and only 5, Overcast Vindictive Glare for the extra bonus versus large could do some serious damage to the Daemon Prince. Even though he isn't technically bonus versus large, you get more magic missiles out of it, could be pretty good. Further afield, more Big Gun Cavalry and Squigs, and those are the armies that get into the action. And right off the bat, Acquiescence on the Deaf Creepers. Furies are going to use their 105 speed to maneuver past the Spiders and prevent them from retreating to their own lines. Acquiescence shaving off a fourth of the Deaf Creepers' mobility, and their leadership will not hold up well with Furies and an Angel from Hell hot on their heels. Nice little Vindictive Glare in response, but this is the danger of skirmish mode. If a unit manages to get ahead of you, it can force a wonky retreat path that ultimately leads to doom, death, and destruction. Spiders squashed before they had a chance to do much of anything here, and I'd say on the list of factions you do not want to aggressively vanguard against, it's Wood Elves, Beastmen, and probably Slaanesh. Out on this side, Squigs and the Boar Boy Cav, they're in a rough spot too. Seekers and Hellstriders already moving in for the kill, and the Squigs are only 300 gold. Losing them is not a big deal at all, but there's not much they can do here. They're pretty much just going to get run over. And at that price point, I'd say for the Greenskins, this is a tool you might not want to ever leave home without, especially in domination mode, but even in land battles. 300 gold Squigs are a pretty incredible value, but you shouldn't expect much out of them when they get surrounded by Demonettes and Hellstriders. That's a pretty potent combination that even elite armored cavalry doesn't really want to mess with. And that's why the Boar Boy Cav have retreated to the safety of their own battle lines, and they can make use of the choke points here. And from a positioning perspective, I would argue the Greenskins have a pretty clear-cut advantage here. Slaanesh is going to have a hard time outflanking them, getting around in behind, getting those Soulsent passives rocking, getting the devastating flankers kicking in when they're all fighting from the front. Death Creepers were seen off the map by the armor-piercing Furies, lightning and thunder flashing in the distance, and the devoted Marauders of Slaanesh will move up and think about engaging, but perhaps just going for a little bit of a bait. Important thing to note here, with the Mark of Slaanesh, all Slaanesh units are 4 or 5 move speed faster than their counterparts from other factions, I believe. So the Chosen, while not incredibly fast in and of themselves, certainly faster than the counterparts from Khorne, Tzeentch, or certainly Nurgle, which move incredibly slowly. Azazel dropping a Lash of Slaanesh, BDSM, smacking those Savage Orcs in the flank. They're devastated. They are never physically or financially going to recover from this. The sticks and stones may break their bones, but chains and whips excite them. And the Eternal Entourage and the rest of the Slaaneshi Light Cav moving in from behind and perhaps setting up for some hammer and anvils in the choke point. Nice Vindictive Glare. I'm unsure if that was Overcast. I do not believe that it was. I think an Overcast would deal a little bit more damage to the 5 armor of Azazel. But melee will begin in earnest now, and Devoted Marauders of Slaanesh with their bonus versus infantry charging into the fray. And I do believe they trade upwards into and defeat Savage Orcs in 1v1 scenarios, and that'll be made even more easy when the Discouraged Contact effect from Azazel and his Demon Blade, minus 16 leadership for anything that he touches, causes some terror rout. So if that frenzy wears off for the Savage Orcs, which it might do so pretty quickly, then a terror rout could be imminent. But Stone Trolls are coming in to support, and an Itchy Nuisance is a nice counteracting play for the Greenskins as they move down with the Catchweb Spider Shrine. Steeds of Slaanesh roaring in from the flank, Azazel taking to the skies because he did not want to be pinned down by a bunch of angry Stone Trolls. Devoted Marauders in the center being run over by the Squig and Savage Orc combo. Really nicely played there. And I think that Itchy Nuisance was just what the Doctor ordered in terms of shutting down Azazel's aggression on the Dark Prince's right flank. But here come the Hellstriders, the Furies, and the Eternal Entourage, and this could get nasty. While everything is focused in the center, facing forward, the Slaaneshi Cav has maneuvered all the way around behind the Greenskins army and manages to get a nasty engagement into the Boar Boy Big Guns and should be able to take them down quite quickly. Even if the Big Guns were able to counter-charge, with the Furies here charging in from behind, I think it would have been lopsided, but this is even more brutal. Squig's gone, Big Guns gone, pretty much on contact. Another Vindictive Glare, again not Overcast, but still dealing a lot of damage to the low armor of the Prince of Damnation and setting up for a Slicing Shards. Now, the Stone Trolls were able to pin down about half the unit of those Seekers of Slaanesh, and the Devoted Marauders are not long for this world. Slicing Shard gonna kill everything. No mercy, no respite for either side. Plenty of friendly fire in there too, but perhaps worth it because that was a losing engagement for Azazel, and he just said, screw it. If you're not helping me, you might as well die, which is pretty thematic for Demon Prince. Their souls are shattering in broken fractals all around. Slicing Shard, jibbing everything that hangs out beneath it. Not a place you want to be when that thing rains down. That's an expensive and powerful armor-piercing spell. And meanwhile, Azazel is going right into the Savage Orcs over on the Greenskins' right flank, and he has some cool-ass animations, dude. Temptator activated, reflecting damage back towards the Savage Orcs, and a 20% ward save on top of everything should allow those Devoted Marauders to perform quite well in this engagement, while the Lash of Slaanesh continues to jib models that have already lost some of their HP. Wa has activated for the Greenskins. Some of their Boar Boy Big Guns have returned, and they are in the crosshairs of the Eternal Entourage, and oh no. Oh Lord, what are they doing? Where were they going? They were trying to move. I don't know what happened to them, but they got very blobbed up. It doesn't matter. They weren't able to get their charge bonus off, and even if they had done so, it was not an engagement they could win. They were already severely beaten up from an earlier fight, and the Eternal Entourage butchered them, showed no mercy whatsoever. But in the center, the Greenskins are doing a hell of a lot better. Stone Trolls and Big Guns trading well into the Marauder front line. The only thing that might be able to turn it here is the arrival of that Chaos Warshrine and its giver of torturous glory, and of course the Chosen, who up to this point have mostly stayed out of the battle in reserve, waiting for a hole to open up that they can plug. They're very good at plugging holes, and now that the battle lines have begun breaking down and the Chaos Warshrine is straight into the middle of everything, the Chosen can move up the hill and start engaging the second and third waves of this Greenskin army. Demonic Carrion swooping in from behind as the lightning rains down. Such a cool and cinematic battlefield. Seekers of Slaanesh into the flank. We're not fully killed off. Really nice itchy nuisance to debuff everything in this engagement. But those stone trolls are routed almost instantly. More trolls moving over, and the Catchweb Spider Shrine continuing to plunk away at Azazel with those vindictive glares. Domineering Aura beginning to rack up some serious value here and get up to minus 10 melee attack and minus 10 melee defense in an AoE. It's a pretty severe debuff and might make it difficult for the Arachnarok Shrine to start chunking into Azazel. But either way, he does not want to fight a single entity of that stature and size. Chaos Warshrine pulled out for a little bit here, but will look to re-engage while the Furies and Seekers of Slaanesh continue preying on everything that breaks off from the main engagement. And here come the Chosen, straight up the hill, with the Furies watching from above like the demonic carrion that they are. Azazel laughing, cackling as he watches this dismemberment, this chaos unfold. Big Guns will do what they can here, but in a prolonged, protracted fight, they have no hope of beating the Chosen of the Dark Gods. It's going to be up to the Catchweb Spider Shrine and that Goblin Great Shaman to plunge into the thick of it and carry the Greenskins to victory if they have any chance of winning. Don't even try it. Really nice single target spell on Azazel will probably do quite a decent amount of damage to him, and another of those vindictive glares. But the Greenskins are looking real thin now. Arachnarok Shrine is unsupported, isolated, entirely surrounded by a bunch of armor-piercing cavalry that deal even more damage when they attack from the flank and rear. And as the tentacles undulate and the ground itself heaves to and fro, an itchy nuisance will not be enough. Slaanesh is going to take this battlefield on their own home turf, and that immune to psychology, army-wide, pretty big deal. They don't care about terror at all, and that's huge in a game like Warhammer 3, especially when you have access to so many cheap, cost-efficient infantry and cavalry alike. And now armor. Now they've got armor. Chosen of Slaanesh. Not a bad unit at all. So, Azazel, Prince of Damnation, 83 kills here. I think he is probably the strongest of the lords in the Champions of Chaos DLC, at least from a competitive multiplayer standpoint. But I don't think any of the four are bad. I think they might all see some play. Village may be the least of the four, but I still think he has some interesting tricks up his sleeve, and we'll be showing off replays with all the other Chaos Lords very soon. So, the Eternal Entourage did great. Chosen of Slaanesh held the line in the center, got 1,000 value. Mortis Engine didn't actually end up doing a whole lot for Slaanesh in this battle, but certainly not a useless unit at all. Definitely going to see play against Vampire Counts and some of those other factions that perhaps can't shoot it down right away. On the flip side, I think the Arachnarok Spider was an interesting pick, and I think Vindictive Glare was the right call, although I think overcasting it would have accrued more value more quickly against Azazel and maybe gotten him off the field, because he was really low at the end. And I think the Goblin Great Shaman did a great job of focusing what was clearly one of the major threats on the Slaaneshi roster. But in terms of the main engagements, the cavalry just wasn't able to do anything here. Hellstriders and the Demonette Cavalry just had their pick of litter in terms of engagements and just straight out outpositioned them at every available opportunity. I think it was right for him to set up in the center and protect his flanks with the terrain, but at the end of the day, I do think the Mono Gods are going to be incredibly strong now. Basically, all the holes that they had before are gone now that mortal units are in play, and it's going to be hard for some of the old world factions to handle them. Do I think this was the best Greenskins build? Probably not. Was it the best they could possibly be played? Probably not, but enjoyable battle nonetheless. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next one.